That song is from the one I love is a song from ABBA. I have a dream, a song to sing to help me cope with reality. Yeah, it's a beautiful one.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm also an ABBA fan. I love their songs too. Hmm. So, who is going to introduce the speaker today? None other than
Yeah.
our chairman, Cynthia
Yes.
Wanyonyi. Are you in the house?
Cynthia
No, we
just
had spoken. We had
Yes,
Cynthia's
spoken.
yeah. Oh, she's joined. She
Thank you,
had just
Jesus.
stepped into the office.
thanks be to God, I'm here. And Noel, good morning, everyone.
Good
Um,
morning, Cynthia.
yeah, today we are going to learn about financial management basically. And our speaker for the day, she's the CEO of Tadio Advisory Group. I hope I've pronounced it correctly. And I love what she says about herself. And I took note of that. She says she's an advocate for what is true and right. And in modern day society, it's hard to find people who, just speak about truth and rightfulness of things. And she has a diverse education background. She's studied public relations, education, strategic management, and currently pursuing a bachelor's in law. And she has years and years of advocating for insurance fairness in the insurance industry. And we all know how many times people have complained about the insurance industry. And she has her major interest is to elevate the world that we live in. And she keeps saying that it's one person at a time and one challenge at a time. She loves nature. She enjoys, looking at water bodies. She loves fiction books, traveling, and road trips. And she says she eats all forms of potatoes. Isn't that an interesting introduction and profile? Please help me welcome Miss Mercy Karimi. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that introduction. I hope you can all hear me. Okay, thank you. Um, as as you've heard, my name is Mercy Karimi, and today I want us to have a discussion about our finances, not about insurance, but just our finances and how we manage our finances. I am taking this meeting from the car because I have a class in the next 30 or so minutes. So just rushing to class after this. And I want to share something on the screen. If you can be able to see your screen, I'm gonna share. I'm gonna share something for us to take a look at as we talk about our finances. I hope my screen can be seen. So I want us to talk about our health indicators. And once we talk about our health indicators, we're going to talk about our financial health indicators. After we talk about our financial health indicators, we'll talk about what kind of stages we look at in our life when we're talking about our bodily health indicators and our financial health indicators. Then we'll talk about what can interrupt um, these stages in life. And then we'll talk about our expenditures and our net worth, and then we'll be done. So let's start with our health indicators. When we talk about our health indicators, we talk about our body temperature, our health pass rates when you go to hospital, our oxygen saturation rate, our respiratory rate, our blood pressure. Those are easy things to talk about. And your doctor will tell you if you're okay or not based on these five, based on these five indicators. So easy things. Even you can tell if you're okay, if your temperature is above a certain degree, if your pulse rate is above a certain beat, or if you're breathing harder than usual, or if your blood pressure is harder than sorry, if your blood pressure is higher than usual, you can tell whether you're sick or not. So how can you tell how your financial health looks like? And what indicators would you look for as a person to check your financial health? You want to look at your net worth. Your net worth is your assets, what you have, and your liabilities, what you owe. So you might have a 5-seater and you owe 2 million worth of 2 cars. So a 5-seater is maybe 100,000 and your 2 million car. So asset minus liability, that is your net worth. Then your passive income, meaning the income you get when you're not, when you're asleep, let me put it that way. And then your ability to meet short-term and long-term financial obligations from basic to major. So financial obligations would mean feeding yourself. If you have a family, feeding your family, moving from point A to B. And should you get sick or your loved one get sick, just your ability to meet those obligations. How healthy are you in that form? And then your savings and your investment baskets. For if you're employed and investments. So if you left employment today or if your business went kaput, what would happen to you? And then your insurance coverage for life risks. As you go on about your business, every day you wake up, the moment you wake up, you're a risk waiting to happen. So what happens if, for example, you get sick, you get a critical illness, or you die, and people are dependent on you? And then your ability to achieve your life goals. So these are the indicators we look for when we are looking at your financial health. So we're going to take a few minutes and just look at those in the next few slides. And we're going to look at them on your 4 life stages. In these life stages, I am sure half of us are in the second stage and the other half are, okay, let me not say half. A couple of us are in the second stage, a couple of us in the third stage, which I'm going to show you, and the others, very few, in the fourth stage. So in the first stage, which is 0 to 20 years, all of us belong to our parents. They make most of our decisions. I think this is the best stage in life, I think. I miss this stage so much. The parents support all our decisions with money. When I say parents, I mean parents or guardians. Your only role, which I tell my children every day, is to go to school and study. You have no other business in this world other than to go to school and study and hopefully show the results of their investments in your later life. So that's the only job you have, 0 to 20 years. I'd be surprised, OPP, if I have somebody in this meeting that is on that stage. So we can only reminisce and talk to our children about this stage.
Yes,
The
but
next
they
stage
could
in
be
life,
in the background.
yeah. So the next stage in life is when you're 20 to 40 years. Some of us in the meeting could be in this stage. So you're with your first job, a bit of savings here and there. You've bought a few things here and there. You've started seeing bills piling up. You started adulting. Yeah. You've rented a house. You've had your first spouse, underline the word first, a child or two. You've chosen the best schools for your children. You want to give the best for your children. So your mentality is the best of the best is what they deserve and what you're willing to give. And then you've maybe started a business. You started investing, a first car, a first mortgage, then your first mistakes start here with money, with spouses, with children, with friends, 20 to 40 years. Then 41 to 60 years, which is stage 3, your income hopefully is better and your life is better. You've bought your second or third asset. For some people, maybe their first asset. Your family becomes bigger. School fees inaanza kukuchezea, you thought getting into kindergarten, you're paying school fees, just get into higher learning, get into high school. School fees is a lot. You had one child, now you have 2, 3, 4 children. So school fees is times 2, 3, and 4. University fees. And then so your savings start dipping because your responsibilities are higher. So the savings basket is a bit lower. Then your loans and mortgages are a bit higher because you started realizing that you're not getting any younger. You're getting older and you're starting to see the horizon open belly. And then your salaries is increasing, but your expenses are also going up. You might be making more money, but your expenses are also going up. And then life happens. This is where separation starts. So your first family, hamwelewani, maybe you're a single parent, you're getting divorced, or spouses start dying, you're losing your spouse, you're losing your parents. So this 40 to 60 is a lot. A lot is happening in your life. And then there are also retrenchments here. You're just a bit older, you're more expensive, but the guys who are 21 to 40 are cheaper. So employers are choosing them over you because they're cheaper, they're more agile, and they can be employed better. And then your business is taking a bad turn, perhaps. So this age is a bit tricky. Yeah. OPP says something there. Let me just read it. He calls them the D's: disease, death, divorce, and disappointment. I'll take that after I finish this. You'll explain what that is. Then the fourth stage is 61 to 80. Energy, hakuna. You want to rely on your retirement package, which is your children, that you invested on. So you want to cash in on that. Then your investments and assets should come through at this point. And then your health starts failing, whether you like it or not, whether you've worked hard for your health or not. Your health as a 61 to 80-year-old cannot be the same as a 21 to 40-year-old or 40 to 60-year-old. It will start dipping. It's just nature. Then this is where you reap where you sowed. What you sowed when you're 20 to 40, when you're 40 to 60, this is where you reap. And then it can be a very long holiday, or it can be a nightmare. So at 61 to 80 is what you look back to what you've been working for from 21 to 60. So whatever you do from 21 to 60, you repeat at 61 to 80. I don't know if we have anyone in this call from 61 to 80, but anyway, yeah. So on these 4 stages of life, what are your key interrupters in your life? Your first key interrupter would be you're unable to work because of an illness. It could be a critical illness or any kind of illness. There's one of our Kenyan friends who keeps saying, each of us as a Kenyan, we are one illness away from poverty. I know that so well. Each of us, it does not matter who, maybe just our politicians who are not one illness away from poverty, but each of us is one illness away from poverty. So the first interrupter that can just mess up your whole financial life and your whole life is illness. The second interrupter would be early death with a young family. So the death of a breadwinner. You've been okay, you've been earning some good money, you and your spouse, and then one of you suddenly passes on. That interrupter would leave your family very compromised. And the third interrupter would be retrenchment or retirement with no resources. Maybe you haven't saved or invested enough, and then one of us is retrenched. I remember when I was a bit younger, there are some quite some companies were retrenching, and a few years after retrenchment, it was like a death sentence. A retrenchment was a death sentence. I haven't had big retrenchments right now. I think there's little employment, so little retrenchment. And then the number 4, you're unable to work because of a disability. So either an accident or an illness renders you unable to work. So those are the kind of interrupters we're looking at that would interrupt your 4 stages of life financially. Yeah. how do we counter those interrupters? How do we counter those interrupters? Fix your expenditure. Just fix your expenditure. It doesn't matter how much you earn. I have not put in any figures there. It doesn't matter whether it's a 20,000 or 200,000 or 1 million. Just fix your expenditure. My first item there is negotiable depending on your faith, depending on how well you believe in tithing. But this is just an indicative figure on how you should be able to fix your expenditure. So out of, let me use 100,000, just so that these percentages can make sense. 100,000, 10%, you tithe, that's 10,000. Savings, investments, another 10,000. Retirement, another 10,000. Emergencies, another 10,000. Rent, 15,000. School fees, 20,000. Food, 15,000. Pocket money, 10,000. Total, 100,000. Now, rent can go to either rent or mortgage. And if it's going to mortgage, then it would be rent. You could do it as rent, retirement, and investment. So that's 10, 10, and 15 if you're buying a house, because retirement would involve you living somewhere. Investment, the mortgage would also be an investment. So look at how you're spending your money. And it is okay if you're not spending it this way. You should just know that, as we talked about our life interrupters, and I will just go back to them. Cause of a sickness, early death, retirement, disability. If you go back to your expenditure, if, for example, you retire and you cancel out number 3, you don't save for retirement, eventually you'll retire, unless you die before you retire, but eventually you'll retire. So it's either you cash out from your children or you die trying to survive, And then school fees is an immediate need. So it's either you pay school fees or you pay school fees, or I don't know what alternative there is. You must eat. But you must also have an emergency kit, because if you don't have an emergency kit, then you must have friends who have an emergency kit on your behalf. And yeah, I'm not sure how wise that is. Yeah. And the last thing I want to talk about is I will come back to the charts. Know and check your net worth annually. That is how you will know whether you're moving backwards or you're moving forwards, or you're stagnating, or you've been stagnating, or you've been moving backwards, or you've been moving forward. This is how your net worth should be looked at. You have on one side your assets, on your other side liabilities. I'm not trying to break anyone's heart, by the way. If you didn't start yesterday or last year, you can start today. And if you feel like maybe you're in your 40s and you haven't started, a good time to start would be today. Yeah. So your assets would be your cash and your cash equivalents. So cash, like cash at hand in the bank, or things that like money markets, people who owe you money and you can cash it. Bank accounts, unit trust, M-Pesa, cash equivalents. And then assets. Assets would be stock markets, long-term unit trusts, SACCOs, business ownerships, houses that are not on mortgage, rental property, etc., etc. And then other assets like cars, furniture, households, ABCD, ABCD. Name them there, put the assets there. Say it comes to 7 million, give or take. Then the other column goes to your liabilities. Liabilities, so you put your house here, for example, in the assets, it has a mortgage. Your house is 5 million. On the other side, you put your mortgage balance, 2 million. Car loan balance, 1 million. Land loan balance, SACCO balance, any loan that you have. So ideally, your assets should be more than your liability, such that if everything else fails and you're to sell off all your assets to pay your liabilities, you're left with something, not like, okay, I was about to talk badly. Let me take that back before I do. You should be the person who should be left off with some money, hata kama ni 500 ama ni 1,000. After you sell off all your assets to set off your liabilities, your asset book should be on the positive. Um, we should be an example to the country. I am back there where I was not going. We should be an example to the country on how to budget, such that your assets are always higher than your liabilities. And anytime your liabilities are higher than your assets, that's a red flag. That's a red flag, and it should tell you need to keep investing more, or you need to balance out that book. You shouldn't be borrowing more than you own. The three piggy banks that you need to have, just so you don't unbalance. Let me use the word unbalance. You don't destabilize yourself, because this asset books, this is what destabilizes the asset book. One, your emergency basket. 6 to 9 months of monthly income and expenses. That's a good place to start. If you don't have any emergency fund, you have 0 months. Start with 1 month. For example, if your expenses for 1 month are 30,000, just strive to get 30,000, such that if something knocks you off, you have 30,000 worth of money to last you a month. Then build towards the 6 to 9 months. Medical expenses basket. This is a huge what? A huge one, yeah, because one admission could set you off 500,000. I don't know what's happening nowadays to SHA. I don't want to talk about it, but medical expenses could set you back, and your liabilities would be so much more than your assets because of a medical emergency. So you could have 5 times your annual income as the best case scenario. If you have none, start now. A cheat code would be to get a medical cover. For 50, 70, 80,000 shillings, you'd get the 5 times your annual income. That would cover you from that eventuality. And then for your future expenses basket, future is when you retire, for education for your children, and for your estate planning. Estate planning is for when you're not there. So when you retire, because you will retire, and because I know you pray for God to keep you, you need to plan for your retirement. And you need to plan so that when I retire, I would want to earn 100,000 per month, 50,000 per month. How do I retire and earn that? What must I do now to get there at that time? Because you might be living for now and not thinking about your retirement. And you will get there because you're praying to live long. Unless you're praying to die after you finish working. If you're praying to live after retirement, then you must plan for it. And you must show God that you're planning for retirement. Otherwise, you're telling him, I'm planning for retirement, but uh, I don't know what I'm going to do after I retire, but just keep me there. Yeah. So those 3 things about the future, you must plan for them. This is just about who we are. We are an insurance agency. You can take a look at that as I take your questions. I've seen several questions on the chat. Let me just scroll back. OPP, you'll tell us what disease, death, and divorce and disappointment is. You look like you have thought about that for quite a long time. Thank you, Judy. Good stuff. Politicians are an inch away from poverty. That is why after losing elections, they are poor and become beggars. They are more vulnerable than the other groups. I sure hope so. Welcome to Power Monday, all of you. Blah, blah, blah. Black tax. Allow me to go back to this inasumbwanga watu. Where does black tax fall here? Imagine it's in pocket money. Just try and imagine it's in pocket money. So black tax can be in pocket money if it's just giving money for, helping your parents with food or with whatever you need to help them with. It could also be on emergencies. If it's a medical emergency or any other emergency at home, it would come as an emergency. But if it's not an emergency, it would be on pocket money. Now, you can play around with this table. For example, if you can play around with your food so that your food is cost less. I don't know how to do that. You're the only person who knows how much you feed yourself. And remember, number 7 could impact your health. And if it impacts your health, then it impacts, it unbalances this table here. So your food could go lower so that your pocket money can go higher. But if your pocket money is 30%, then you're robbing your retirement. It will still catch up with you. It will still catch up with you at one point in your life. So your pocket money can be as much as you want. Your black tax can be as much as you want. Imagine chaguo ni lako. But just know that at some point in your life, one will impact the other. Retirement might be impacted such that because that black tax comes from people who may not have planned for number 3. Ukweli? Tukiongea tu ukweli. Yeah? So you could cancel out number 3 so that pocket money is 20%. Tuendelee tu vile tumetoka. Kila mtu aplani hapo. Yeah? You do away with number 3, hata wewe your children are your retirement. So black tax continue. Let me see what else. When I was talking about 100,000, I was talking about what hits your account. So net, 100,000 as net. Bills depends on what you're calling bills. Bills could be food and utilities. That's bills. That's stima, maji, chakula. That's water, food, and electricity. School fees is also a bill, but it's on itself. So again, you could say school fees to be 10%, and then take your child to a school that mandates 10%, which is 10,000 a month. Or maybe you don't have a child yet, so school fees is scrapped there, and then the 20% you redistribute it elsewhere. Or your child is in a public school that doesn't pay any school fees or pays very little, and that is your decision that you have made. So you take that school fees and take it anywhere else. Let me go on. Thanks, Mercy, for this talk. Where do we place other costs like workers, black tax, personal entertainment for family? Okay. Workers. Where do we place workers? Workers are under utilities. Black tax is under pocket money. Personal entertainment is under pocket money. I know you're looking at this this Excel sheet and thinking about your money, the one that you earn. Imagine, play around with the Excel sheet, play around with the percentages, but at the back of your mind, play around with the future and the present. That is the only way you'll be able to plan for yourself. This is an indication. Unfortunately or fortunately, it's a good indication of how your financial health should be. So playing around is good. And I know pocket money is what is usually just pinches and pains a lot of people, because if you're earning 100,000 net, surely, how do you put pocket money as 10,000? That's very little money, you know. It's very little money, but you can play around with it. You could decide not to tithe. That makes your pocket money 20,000. That doubles it. That makes black tax much easier to pay. That makes entertainment so much better, you know? Yeah. Again, you could decide that if I want more entertainment, my children are going to a public school so that I don't have to save 20,000 of school fees every month. I just need to save maybe 10,000 so that, pocket money can be more. So, yeah. Or you could play around and say, I don't have money for emergencies. My emergencies are my friends. Or Mungu atanisaidia. So it's up to you. Um, Good talk, Matthew. Thank you, Waringa Kemani. Where does transport and fuel costs, food and utilities? Food and utilities. Good talk, Matthew. What's a wake up call? Thank you. Is there any other question?
I can't seem to identify another question unless people post them. There are those two comments. Organizations we work for, that is from Charles, take a lot of investment to ensure accountant balances finances. Call to become accountant for yourselves. I think that's just a comment. The struggle many Kenyans have is reduced income due to taxation. Yeah, so I think let me comment on the D's I was talking about. You remember, Mercy, in my Live Your Dream book, the Live Your Dream in 7 Ds. This is usually D uh, number 4. Disappointment. That is where lots of things, including the people you thought love you because you keep entertaining them, sometimes just disappear because they called you and you are unable to. You've been helping. This time around you are unable to. You therefore fell into their own wrong book. This is where diseases come in. Most of these problems, I don't know, for some reason they start with D. Yeah, that's what I discovered. Yeah, disease comes in, and like this couple of years, past 2 3 years, this year, lots of deaths, and you are always in some group, people collecting and all sorts of things. Yeah, some people are always in troubled relationships. They are considering divorce, others divorcing, and I meet such people, quite a number of them. So that's where I talk about or some of the D's that people take care of in their lives. So I usually talk about the 7 D's if you are going to live your dream, and one of them is that disappointment. Yes.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
mm, so there is that question, I think, from Andy. Or there is also a comment from Casey. I'm trying hard not to expect my kids to be my insurance in future. I wonder if it's fair for parents to expect their children to be their caution in the future. Well, most of us were brought up like that. So I think many of us tend to inherit the same. Because you became insurance for your parents, you hand over or you hand down the same. And sometimes we put curses on our children because they are not doing as much as we expect them to do. Maybe you will talk about that. And then there is that one from Andy. Is our let's see, uh, is our children? Yes, it's the same. Is our children our investment? Something like that for the future. This is where we go wrong. Yeah, it's the same thing. I don't know if you have comments about that. What if you've been ill for so long, decades? And when you recover, you can't break even because there is no retirement benefits or whatever disability. Maybe you'll finish with those ones. Then we
Okay.
go.
So first, this is a personal opinion. I think it's very wrong to expect your children to be your retirement planner. I know most of us, if not all of us, our parents' retirement plan. It is just by, I don't know if it's by design or it's an African thing, but that doesn't make our parents bad people. I think it's just what it is. And so we are carrying two burdens. Burden number one is we are our parents' retirement plan. Burden number two is we should not be our children's retirement plan. So how to solve that is what the problem is. So we have to budget enough to pay black tax and not to be our children's retirement plan. And it's very easy. It is so easy for us to be our children's retirement plan. You don't know how easy it is. It is not hard. If you are maybe 45, 46, and all your savings are 1 million, by the time you're 60, you need to have worked very, very, very hard, very, very, very hard to just up your savings so that by the time you're between 60 and 80, which your energy is so low or lower than usual to make more money, you need to work very hard so that your children don't become your retirement plan. Sikupenda kwa parents wetu that we are their retirement plan. Yeah, sikupenda kwetu. The question on what if you've been ill for so long and decades, and when you recover, you can't break even because there's no retirement benefits or disability payouts? I believe if by an eventuality you've been sick, if you're okay, you can start now. You can start now. If you're 55, the time to start is also just now. If the best time was yesterday, if not yesterday, the time is now. You would rather have a retirement plan and earn 20,000 a month when you're retired than the person who doesn't have any earnings at retirement. Yeah. So the time to start is now rather than later or never. If you're better off now than you were before this presentation, now that you know better. Next presentation, time to adjust. What are the 7 Ds? I think our chairman has talked about them. Judy, thank you very much. Nice presentation. Looking forward to more of these sessions. Dorothy, being over 61, such teachings are crucial for me. I'm working towards my children and not my retirement plan. Thank you very much, Dorothy. As I said, the time is now. Do you have some advice for those at stage 3 that need to start investing now as they are busy educating the whole family, both their siblings and their children? Again, the time to start is now. Stage 3 is a good stage to start. If you've educated a lot of people, you can move that money from education now to the future. You can balance out this table to just show a lot more. You can balance out this table to just show more on the future than on the present, because you've been living on survival mode on the present. So balance it out more to show the future more than the present. So kama unanyonga vitu za present for the future, the better for you. Yeah, because it has been heavily on number 6, 7, and 8, maybe 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now it should be more heavy on the 4, 3, and 2. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Noel, I think a big part of what we also need to know is this money thing is a mindset. We can have limitation mindset and we keep thinking of why it can't work. Some other times, enough of us can behave like donkeys, as I would call it. You carry everyone's burden, everyone around you. It's always good to know how much weight we can carry. If you carry everyone else beyond your weight, beyond what you can carry, sometimes I give this with respect to business. Your business can only generate, say, revenue, or you can only afford to pay you 50,000. If you give it a burden of 100,000, it becomes a big problem. And the same will apply with the responsibilities. And the other thing that I learned about finance is, it doesn't matter what you earn, by the way. You remember, like Mercy said, at certain stage you are earning much less and you are still surviving. And usually expenses will grow as you grow, and even more. So it's good that we have the mindset that we can do it at any stage, we can start at any stage, and we can only carry what we can carry. I know for some of us, as you grow, more and more people keep looking up to you, and you are called for every school fees arrangement. Right now, there is new funding model for universities in Kenya, and everyone who has a child going to the university in the village is looking for you. So it's good for us to just know what that no is an answer. When you can't afford it, you can't afford it. And even the choices of where we take our children for schooling or for holidays, sometimes we just do things because we are competing with other people. We should also be seen to be doing better. And so we are doing it to impress other people. So it's good also to know what is an asset and what is a liability. Sometimes I talk about this, that liability is that which takes money from you, an asset is that which brings money. Sometimes we acquire liabilities and we think they're assets. If you buy a big TV screen, sometimes you buy even a bigger vehicle, whatever, which is not going to be put for business use. And most of these things, they are just taking money as opposed to bringing money. There is something we call symbols of wealth as opposed to wealth. You just want to be seen to be wealthy, but ideally the cash flow is bad and negative. It's good to know that. Another thing maybe to share is take good care of your health. We've been told that this is where a big problem can come in. Some of us are very reckless with our health, and so even what we consume and how we live, and we don't really think much about uh, what our health entails. So it's a good thing to think about health and ensure that you are able to keep yourself in optimal health. Prayer alone is not the answer. Sometimes we just say, oh, we are in the hands of God, which is good, but God says, my people perish for lack of knowledge, not for lack of money, not for lack of connections, not for lack of anything else, not even for lack of prayer or faith. So it's good to do that. And so I think maybe those are some of the things I would add. Noel, are you there? Dr. Melvin, I'm told you say you are supposed to give a vote of thanks, so maybe you can come in and do that before you jump out. Mercy, you can put your contacts in the chat just in case. I know you've placed them in the screen, but you can also just put them in the chat, and that will be able to work. People can reach out to you. Okay.
A long time ago. Yes, a long time ago.
I think your network
So
connection.
now that Dr. Melvin is not there, who wants to offer a vote of thanks? Antonia,
You can do that.
All right. Thank you so much.
Caroline is doing it. Lady Noel, seems like your network is also not stable. Let Caroline do it, Wanyonyi. Nashami.
Thank you. With appreciation, I offer to give a vote of thanks to our speaker of today.
On behalf of all of us here, I would like to extend really gratitude to Mercy Karimi for delivering such an insightful talk. It's a valuable talk on money management. I think the information and strategies that you've shared are very great and have created a deeper understanding on how to manage our finances, make informed decisions, and work towards achieving our financial goals. I really want to thank you for your expertise, clarity, and advice that you've given on some of the concepts that are accessible to each one of us. I would also be grateful on behalf of this team, Power Monday, for taking time to prepare this session. And we are confident that what we have learned today will benefit all of us in knowledge and the skills to manage our finances very well. I want to thank and appreciate everyone on this call. Thank you for your active participation, your questions, and let's all keep attending Power Monday to make these sessions more enriching. Thank you so much to the organizing team for making this event possible. Without your hard work behind the scenes, I think these sessions would have dried up long time ago. Thank you so much. We look forward to applying what we have learned today. Looking forward to more enriching financial discussions in the future. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so
Beautiful
much,
session.
Nashami. I had missed your voice.
Even
Thank you
me.
so much.
And even the face.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're
Exactly.
there. You're speaking. You're not seeing the beautiful smile. Look at you.
Exactly. We need to see that beautiful face. Asante sana. So a shout out to my friend from Nigeria, Prince. Welcome again and again. We are going to teach you Swahili. Do not worry. I know at times we throw one or two Swahili words, but you're going to teach them to you.